So much of the talk at the moment with regards to the US is focused on the government shutdown, the potential for Democrat gains in the midterm elections, particularly off the back of sensational election of the new mayor of New York, Zoran Mamdani, if I pronounced that correctly,
Yep.
as well as the important meeting recently between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump. So much to talk about, Jonathan. So why don't we maybe start with the government shutdown, which seems to look like there's going to be a deal and that'll get resolved. And then we can talk about maybe the midterm election, some of the other things.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thanks, Eugene. Always nice to see you, and always nice to have the opportunity of talking to yourself and, of course, everyone in the Lifespan community and family. We meet every 3 months, Eugene, and it's quite bewildering the amount that happens in between our respective interviews. So, shall we start with New York, or let's just do the U.S. as you say, the U.S. government shutdown very, very briefly. As we speak, it looks like there has been a vote in the Senate, 60-40. So, the Republicans have basically got the votes now to open the government. There's a couple of procedural votes that need to take place, and literally as we speak, they're going through the motions right now. And then, of course, it has to go back to the House where it had already been passed. It was the Senate that was the stumbling block because the Republicans required 60 votes in the Senate. Looks like they've secured those. So the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, looks like it could draw to a close. The leader of the House of Representatives has asked all members to return to the House within the next 36 hours for their vote, and one assumes it will get through the House of Representatives. So yeah, it's been a circus. The Washington circus has been in full display here, and you know what? At the end of the day, a lot of people are scratching their heads as to what it was really all about. A lot of posturing by both parties. Let's not be partisan here. Both parties posturing. But the bottom line is, Eugene, it looks like the government will soon be reopened. And it was getting really alarming. I must admit, Eugene, I was very happy that I wasn't flying in the United States in the last few days, because we're seeing more and more flight cancellations. And, when you start talking about travel safety and air traffic controllers not turning up to work, gee, it doesn't make you feel good. And I felt actually about 5 days ago when I heard that the air traffic controllers, the problems with them, and then many of them not turning up to work, I thought, you know what, this is going to be the catalyst that really energizes and focuses the mind on the damage being done by the government shutdown. The other, lots of politics to talk about. We'll cover them as briefly as we can. The city that never sleeps, the financial capital of the world, and of course we're speaking about New York. And I won't do my favorite Frank Sinatra New York song, but we have a self-described socialist, Zoran Mamdani, as the new mayor of New York. I don't know how to fit this piece into my jigsaw puzzle, but there it is. It is what it is. We have a socialist mayor of New York. And obviously the youth vote was absolutely critical in electing Zoran Mamdani. And boy, oh boy, are we going to have some fun watching the inevitable duel between the president of the United States and a 34-year-old mayor in New York. So lots of fun and games there. Does it have national kind of ramifications? Possibly not. Bit of a protest vote, and as I said, very much motivated by a strong youth vote coming out to put the 34-year-old into the office of mayor. And then, of course, we had two governorships, New Jersey and Virginia, both of them won by the Democrats. So it's hard to translate that into a kind of a national setting. But of course, as you correctly say, we're now beginning to think about the midterm elections, the all-important midterm elections for November next year. Now, of course, we're in November, Eugene. I can't believe it. We're nearly at the end of 2025. I don't know what happened to this year. It's been non-stop entertainment. But yes, our minds are now looking to the midterm elections. I'm not anywhere close to making any predictions yet about the midterms for next year, but it is going to be critical. And there is a lot of speculations the Republicans will lose control of the House, possibly not the Senate, but then we'll have split government. And then, of course, all the shenanigans and the circus in Washington, I'm sure, will not disappoint us.
Indeed. So, yeah, there's a lot there, isn't there? Just going back to the government shutdown, they do this dance every couple of years, right? Like, it's not something that's entirely new. You did mention that this was the longest ever. Stock markets and bond markets kind of shrugged. Little bit of crack, little bit of volatility, but everything, equity markets are still at all-time high. So, I mean, I'm kind of amazed at how desensitized markets are to these sorts of events. Like, people reading about it for the first time ever would think it's pretty serious, but it does sort of tend to happen every so often, and it's been happening for a long time. But anyway, it's good that it looks like a deal will be done.